Hello, Trenton. Good evening. So it is working. Bad Francis, good evening. How you doing? So say I feel tired today. Hope you guys are good. I'm gonna try and clean my magnifying glass before I get started real quick. Have I got a clean handkerchief that my kids haven't made a mess of? Apparently this one. Thanks. Everything's working. Good, good, good. I was off last week. Went away on holiday with the kids for a few days, and then when I came back, I was super lazy. I'm never super lazy. It was the first, I think it's maybe Christmas. It's the first time in a while I think I took a break from Blood Angels Commander. I did actually make one video, because like, I realise now that I don't really have any hobbies except making Warhammer videos. So I did unbox my Wicked Brick display case. So I did that last week and I made a little video on that. And that was fun. I've been wanting that Wicked Brick case for a while. Clint ordered a Blood Angels Commander t-shirt. Thanks for the support, Clint. I appreciate it. Like maybe 10 people have ordered t-shirts at this point, so that's cool. I was actually not really sure if we would get many t-shirt orders, but I appreciate it. Dr. Kushla, good evening. Nice to see you. Wow, this pot of Mechanicus Standard Grey is on the last leg. Sure, I have another one, but yeah, maybe need to get another pot of Mechanicus Standard Grey pretty soon. I like having one spare pot, so if you ever run out like mid-paint job or something, you're still good to go. This, I actually think I should try and take this paint out if you're not with a brush, but with a with like one of these, what do you call these things? It's like a scalpel. Yeah, this paint is it's seen better days, that's for sure. Look at it. Ooh, almost has gone hard inside the pot. Yeah. I guess that's why people don't love these GW pots, huh? They are not the best. I must have had that pot for like 5 years or something. I don't use a lot of Mechanicus Standard Grey in my painting. Usually just use it for the little armor joints between the Space Marines. You know, like their elbow armor, their leg hinges. I don't use it a lot. Sometimes I might use it for like basing models. But yeah, Mechanicus Standard Grey is not a paint I use a lot of, so this pot is, it could be 5 years old. So I'm just trying to thin that down for a minute. Hello, who else is in here? Rosal, good evening. Rosal, good evening. Jim, hello. You're forgiven for painting heretics, it's okay. Everybody has their moments. I've got some heretics that I need to paint at some point, you know that? Everybody has some heretics somewhere. I have a lot of undead models from Age of Sigmar that I've never got around to painting. Dr. Kushla says that the pillow that you have under your feet is next level. Yeah, I like to have a footrest, man, but also probably don't want to spend too much money on a footrest. So I use an old cushion from it's like from an old sofa. It's a good idea. So I'm just going to use Mechanicus Standard Grey for armor joints, like this armor joint on his arm and stuff. This will be a bit of a tricky step, because these guys, when they're put together like this, some of these armor joints are going to be quite inaccessible to get to. So it's a tricky step. I've been painting Outriders now for a few weeks, painting them pretty much since they helped me win the GT. A few weeks ago, I did actually want to go live tonight and play a battle report. I haven't actually played a game of Warhammer since I won the GT, which was 2 weekends ago now. But because it's the summer holidays, lots of people are on holiday, and it's hard. Like, my channel's small. I don't pay anyone for coming on and doing battle reports with me. So Andrew's away on holiday, Colin's looking after his kids this week, and then Brett was busy, I guess, because it's the summer. So hopefully, I messaged Colin right before this stream, seeing if we can get back to live battle reports next week. But if I don't have an opponent, there's not much I can do, so... sometimes I look at it as a blessing. I mean, I get very little time to paint in a week, in a normal week. Hello, Cambo. How are you? So I've made... I released one video about the GT last night. I've got another one that's going to release on Friday. I've got another one that's going to come out next week. I haven't figured out when the last two are going to come out, but I mean, I have started the slides for Game 4. And then I haven't started anything for the final table yet, Gabe. But I'll get to it. I purposely tried to have a really good holiday last week, which I don't normally do, I guess. I usually always end up working during holidays. So, yeah, no, I had a good break. So by the end of the week, I was like feeling a bit weird. I was like, I gotta come back and make some YouTube videos. It's been like too long. And also, I haven't been able to see... I mean, I've been speaking in Discord, but it's not the same as going live and speaking to people on the live chat, I guess, right? So, Morgo, hello, how are you? It's just nice to see you green members. Nice to see you guys after a week away. I noticed that they said today that they're going to be doing a boarding actions book for 10th edition. Kev was very excited about that. I've only played one game of boarding actions, and it was against Kev. He's actually playing a game of boarding actions tonight, in the room we stream in, because he came and spoke to me and said, like, hey John, are you using the streaming table tonight? And I was like, I don't have an opponent, Kev, unless you want to play. And he's like, I'm actually playing someone at boarding actions tonight. I was like, oh, cool. Because I was asking him if he wanted to use my terrain, and he was like, yeah, I'll use your terrain if that's okay. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I really enjoyed the one game of boarding actions I've played. I think it's a cool game mode. I do want to play more of it. I think it's quite a balanced mode as well. Not that necessarily regular 40k is unbalanced, but I guess when you talk about those little 500-point armies and you've got the corridors and stuff, I think it seemed very balanced. I liked it. Or maybe Mephiston was just really strong. Mephiston is pretty good in boarding actions. So, I mean, you can't really use Mephiston in a normal game of 40k, but you can definitely do some damage with him in boarding actions. It'll be interesting to see what new rules they come up with. I don't know if the people that watch my stream are overly interested in boarding actions, but I think I'll play it at least one more time. If I buy, well, Kev will probably buy the book because he's really into it. So we'll be able to get at least one other game on. God, trying to paint these armor joints with these guys all modelled together is a bit of a nightmare. I'm going to need to do so much cleanup with red paint once I'm finished here. Fast units have insane advantage in boarding actions. You lose some of the abilities of fast units, right? Like jump pack marines lose something, right? But they might have balanced it again. You know, we don't know what the new rules are, I guess, yet, do we? I must admit, I haven't read the article that came out today. I had a very busy day at work. But because Thursday night's our Grotz night, we're probably going to cover it tomorrow night on the podcast. We might spend a few minutes talking about boarding actions. Hello, Pandaman Pete. You got 500 player GT on Friday. Wow. Good luck. 500 players. How many games do you play? Do they have like a cut? How does it work? Good luck at a 500. That's a serious... It's a very serious event size. I'm one of these people that hates having to rush to paint stuff like the night before an event, so I genuinely... If I know I'm going to an event, I try and be well prepared in advance. I don't like rushing. I make mistakes even when I'm not rushing, right? So is everyone in chat painting? If you are painting tonight, let me know what you're painting. It's the Tacoma Omen. You play 8 games. Dude, try... I mean... I was going to say, try your absolute best to, like, stay hydrated. Keep your, like, blood sugar at a good point. That's going to be tough going. I just played 5 games at the GT and basically really almost lost my last game just because I was tired and... do you know what? I tried really hard to get lots and lots of water, but still... give yourself the best chance you have by, like, staying... I think each day to the GT I just went to, I took like 4 litres of water. No, not 4 litres. 2 litres of water, and it wasn't enough, right? Chris has been painting Eldar. They've made a nice change from your Blood Angels. Cool. Give the stream a like if you get 2 seconds. Thanks for reminding me to tell people, Chris. You're playing demons this weekend. It's all Khorne. Khorne demons can be quite difficult, man. But I suppose the one thing that Blood Angels lack a little bit of in melee is AP, and demons don't really care about that, so I suppose you've got that going for you. I was going to say, you know it's bad when for some of the armor joints you're going to have to close one eye to be able to see. These guys are going to be... They're going to need so much cleanup. I'm going to make such a mess of this grey. Hello, Yvengi. How are you doing? Kevin! Painting a Calixus Assassin tonight. To complete the Assassin collection. Just in time, Kevin, right? Because Chapter Master Valrak keeps going on about how there's going to be a new Assassin release. Don't know if he's necessarily put a date on it, but... Seems like every week he's talking about Assassins or Agents of the Imperium, right? It's cool to have the full collection of the Assassins. I've got 3 of them. The Eviscerator, the Calixus, the Calidus, and my Vindicator, which I think is possibly the weakest Assassin. My Vindicator Assassin is in his... Like, I got the one from the Warhammer TV, you know, like for year 1 of Warhammer Plus. But I haven't actually opened that model yet. I just think the Vindicator Assassin is very swingy. You know, like, it's cool if his headshot procs go off, but I think there's a pretty good chance that he doesn't do much headshotting. Kai says, when do you think the codex will be released? I actually put a comment on the official GW Facebook page, because they posted something very recently. I can't remember what it was. It was like... I can't remember the post. Because I guess Games Workshop put out multiple Facebook posts every day, right? But they posted something 40k related, and I replied to it and said, like, hey, when are we getting the new codex roadmap? Because people want to know what codexes are coming next, etc, etc. And they said, they replied, they're quite good at replying, to be fair. They replied and they said that there's no news on a new roadmap, but like they'll pass it on to the development team to let them know that people want a new roadmap. And I'm like thinking to myself, I was like, they must know everybody's waiting for this new roadmap. Everybody wants, like, I guess it would be like the roadmap of year 2 of 10th edition. Like, everybody wants that roadmap, so they must know people want the roadmap. They're just not ready to release it yet. Or sometimes, you know, speaking of like Pandaman Pete going to a big event, sometimes they like to keep those for the big event reveal shows, right? And I think by the end of the summer they'll announce the roadmap of like the next 4 or 5 codexes, maybe even more than 4 or 5. I would really hope that Blood Angels are in that next next batch, as you call it, I suppose. Did I see that the Joy Toy have now released Sangria Guard? I do love the Joy Toys, man. I don't own any of them. I would like to own more of them, to be brutally honest with you. I think, well, more of them. I just like to own any of them. I would like to own a full set of collection of Joy Toys. Here's the thing. My wife doesn't work at the moment because we have 2 young children. I want to take them to Disneyland. Disneyland, if you haven't been recently, I mean, Disneyland was expensive before COVID and all that nonsense. Now it's ridiculous. So, I'm having to sacrifice, like, buying a few things here and there. For example, needless things like a Joy Toy is just going to sit on my shelf and look cool, right? Like, whereas, like, having money to take the kids to Disneyland is probably the higher priority for me. So yes, I think the Joy Toys are super cool. I saw the Dante one recently. I think it's cool. I think at this point, you could almost buy, like, a whole Blood Angels army of Joy Toys. Because I know they've done Mephiston, I know they've done Dante, I guess now they've done Sangregard, and you've got Lieutenants, and you've got Aggressors, and you've got Terminators. Like, you could almost make a whole Blood Angels army of Joy Toys. I'm gonna go to Disneyland in Paris, man, because that's obviously the closest to me by a long shot. And it'll be way, way cheaper. Because I think when I looked at it recently, flights for 4 people to America return from, like, the nearest airport here is like £4,000, whereas, like, flights to Paris would be like £1,000. So the flights alone, I guess, are like I know that the Disneyland in America is better than the one in Paris, but the flights are going to be 4 times more expensive, right? So, and my kids are very young. You know, like, maybe if the kids were older, I could justify it, but yeah, the kids are very young, so we'll go to the cheaper one. Speaking of Disneyland, I actually heard that they're making a 5th park in Florida recently. I think it was in the news that they're trying to apply to have a 5th Disneyland park. So maybe we'll aim to go there when they open Park 5, whenever many years that will be. But yeah, I think I would like... They made a Joy Toy Furioso, yeah. Imagine how big a board you would need to play with the Joy Toys. You know when you go to, like, a hotel and you see that giant chess set? That's what I imagine the Joy Toys would be like a giant 40k board. But here's the thing, like, Dante's like $60, Mephiston's like $60. They do Blade Guard as well, so you could have Mephiston. I know technically Mephiston can't attach to Blade Guard. It's semantics. Surely it's only a matter of time before Mephiston can attach to Blade Guard. He's literally on the same size base. Other Chief Librarians for other chapters allowed to attach to Blade Guard. So, right, you could get Mephiston like a squad of Blade Guard. You could get Dante in like a squad of Sangregard now. I guess that would cost you like £1,000. But boy, would it be pretty cool. Imagine of a 2,000 point list of Joy Toys. That would be epic. Expensive, but epic. I bought Dante and he's arriving next week. You lucky devil. Let us know. Right, see when Dante comes, Panda Man, put a picture on the Discord and tag me on it, because I'm a little bit jealous. I am in Florida. I haven't heard anything about Universal Studio requesting more lands for the park. It's happened. It's 100% happened. Universal are building a 3rd park. Disney are going to build a 5th park. It's like an arms race, Kai. When one of the Disney or Universal do like another park, the other one has to like take it to the next level. So, I mean, they always say competition is good for business, right? So, Universal make something awesome, Disney will make something awesome. But yeah, no, I watch a few YouTube channels that talk about Disneyland and stuff like that, because obviously I'm wanting to go with the kids, and obviously I'm wanting to you know, not waste my time or waste my money. So I watch a few different channels that talk about like what to do and what you need with kids and all that sort of stuff, and they are definitely making more parks because I've been suggested the videos. YouTube's very good at listening to you, I feel like. You know, like or is it, they're very good at collecting your advertising data. I can't remember what it was. It was like I sent my wife a message in Facebook Messenger one day. You know, like if you don't use text messages, you can use Facebook Messenger. And it was about something in the house, I don't know, like let's say like a bulb had broken or something. It was, I can't even remember what it was, but it was like, something in the house is broken and we need to find a replacement. And I sent her like a message in like Facebook saying like, you know, can you have a look on Amazon or something? Or we'll look on Amazon together when we're home. And then the second I get home, all the adverts targeted at me are the thing that's broken. So it's like, they know, these big companies know what you're interested in. They know. Antonius, I'm doing well. I'd kind of wish to be playing a live game tonight, but I couldn't find an opponent. It's summer holidays. It's actually roasting here. I'm going to open my window in a second. So, yeah, I wanted to play a live game tonight, but because it's summer holidays, Andrew's away on holiday, and other people are busy, so hopefully we'll get back to live games next week. I actually watched some of the stream from the top table of I watched some of my own stream last night. I watched a bit of my game against Chaos Knights. And I think if for next year, like I can get a better camera angle, and I can get like maybe some clip-on microphones, I think we could stream the top table from the Blood Angels Commander GT a little bit better than we did this year. So, I'm gonna try. We'll try and improve that for next year. I'll probably be able to make the stream better. The Joy Toy is on Amazon for $38. That's very cheap. Is that because of Prime Day, or is that just for something else? Sometimes I think all these mobile devices are listening to you. I've been on a bit of a health kick recently, Vengi. And I've been doing like a lot of weight training, and I've been going to the gym like quite a bit more frequently than I was. Maybe like I've always gone to the gym a little bit, or I've always worked out a little bit. So I've been, maybe over the last year it's got a little bit more serious. Like I've just been a bit older, you know, and like to feel a bit healthier when you're a bit older, you work out a little bit more, you eat a little bit better. So I've been doing that. In fact, the night of the GT that I went home after going 3-0, and I was really, really tired. I did like 3 really tough games of Warhammer. I was really tired. So I went to bed at like 10 o'clock. I normally don't go to bed at 10 o'clock. So because I went to bed at like, I think I was asleep by 10:30, I woke up for the second day of the GT at like maybe 6:45 or something. The GT doesn't start till, I think it started at 10 on the Sunday. So I had like 3.5 hours. And I kind of thought to myself, like, what am I going to do for 3.5 hours? Well, I ended up deciding going to the gym, just to like kill some time and feel a bit healthier. So it's like I've been going to the gym a little bit more. I've been Googling maybe like some workout plans a little bit more. And then when you do that, all the adverts to you are like, you know, buy this home gym, buy this, buy this, buy this. It's just like, they know. Your phone listens to you, Facebook listens to you. They're all doing it. They all tell you that they want to protect your privacy, but they sure as hell want to sell you some stuff on the ads, don't they? Hello, Phil. How are you, Phil? Nice to see you. Max trying some flesh tours next time. Seth's rolls are pretty sweet. Yeah, Phil took Seth to the GT, and he said that in one of his games, I think he said Seth alone killed like 3 carnivores. He said that the flat 3 damage he's got, and then I guess if you attach him to a Sanguinary Priest as well, he gets more AP. So he's like the only person that's hitting at strength 10 with 3 damage and 3 AP. So I think Seth, and then I guess if you've got him paired to the Salt Intercessors, which is one of the few choices you have, I guess, if you're running Seth, because you can't really pair to anything else, you end up with reroll wounds, right? Hello, Kyle. How old am I? I am 41 in September, so like 2 months I'm 41. That's why I've got no hair on this part of my head, you see? At some point I'm going to have to just... Oh, shoot. At some point I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and shave all my hair off like everybody else who is doing that's going bald. Or get a hat. Or just wear a hat all day, every day, I guess. Oh, there's a seller. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a Commander Dante Joy Toy, I guess now was the time. He's $38 on Amazon. I think I looked at him like a few weeks ago, and I think he was $65. So that's like, that's almost 30% off. So I guess if you were trying to get your Commander Dante Joy Toy, maybe now is the time to check Amazon. They do have that sort of Amazon Prime sale thing going on at the moment, so I guess it's worth checking out. Interestingly enough, you can go with Company Heroes. You know what? The Company Heroes are a really good squad, Mac. Not many people are running them, but I ran them to the GT, and I genuinely really like the Company Heroes. I think they're an interesting squad that are quite survivable, and maybe can just surprise a few people. I genuinely really like the Company Heroes. I think I will run them again, honestly. Or I'll keep running them. I like them more than the Assault Intercessors. I know that the Assault Intercessors can maybe, coming out the Impulsor with the Captain, can maybe deal a little bit more damage than the Heroes. But I think the survivability on the Heroes is way, way, way better. Especially sometimes, like, see in my game against Chaos Knights. So Chaos Knights have Slaughter Claws. I'm sure you guys know this. And Slaughter Claws are so good at killing Marines because they're D6 plus 2 damage, and I believe they're AP 3, and their strength like 14 or something. So it's like they normally wound Marines on 2s, and then you're only going to get to save on a 6, and every failed save is a dead Marine. While the Company Heroes, they're only wounding on 3s, so that adds a bit of survivability straight away, and then when they do, they have to roll a 2-up. If they roll a single 1 on any of their wound rolls, then they do not kill a Company Hero. And I think that's what ended up happening, in that, like, I think he failed a couple of wound rolls into the Company Heroes, and then maybe I saved like the one of the 2 that went through, and then he rolls a 1, so it's like a Chaos Knight charges my squad of Company Heroes with a Slaughter Claw, doesn't even kill a single model. And I feel like if that's Assault Intercessors, I probably lose the whole squad, right? So it's like, I really do like that Company Hero squad. They're different, but I think they're valid. When in September? I'm the last day of September, Antonius. No, I'm hearing a kid crying. I'll be right back. 1 second, sorry. The wife's come and saved me. Lots of people have September birthdays, huh? Okay. The Company Heroes is, if I have a character that needs a home, why not? I don't think they're a mainstay unit. I like them so much though, Kyle. Like, Space Marines do not have a lot of units that are going to just be able to sit on an objective and hold it and do a lot of damage. If you math it out, right? Like, I think each Company Hero, like, I think this is right, they get like 4 attacks per model. So when they charge, you're still getting 15 attacks from the... You're still getting 15 attacks before you factor in the fact you're getting like 6 attacks from the guy with the master-crafted power sword that has precision. And, you've got the guy with devastating wounds on his rifle, which is pretty useful. And then you've also got the guy with the 3 damage heavy bolter. I rolled 3 6s for that sustained 2, the 9th month of the 9th Legion. John, you're 364 days younger than me. Oh, that's very precise. I rolled 3 damage, so I got 9 shots from his 3 damage heavy bolter. I mean, that doesn't happen very often, but I did it. So yeah, I quite like the company heroes. I think they're a neat squad. I just think, you're losing some offensiveness, I guess, if you just flat up raw compare them against the assault intercessors, right? But they have different units. Like my list already had like a bunch of assault intercessors, a bunch of not jump intercessors. My list already had assault intercessors, jump intercessors, and it's already got outriders, it's already got death company. I felt like I needed a durable unit. And I understand why you say you don't think they're a mainstay unit, but I was looking for a cheap unit that had a lot of OC and a lot of durability. And I think that's what the company heroes bring. Felix tried the company heroes for the first time yesterday, and he was impressed. It's when like in the game against Chaos Knights, they were really, really useful for me. I'm trying to think if they were useful in other games as well, but yeah, I mean, I remember when I was playing against the Votan, they have those really powerful Terminators with a 2-up save. I devastated wounded one of them just straight off the board with the stupid master-crafted bolt rifle. I was like, I shoot you with my master-crafted rapid-fire 3-shot bolt rifle. Oh, there's a 6. Take one of your Terminators straight off the board. I mean, they have some pizzazz, those company heroes. I'm gonna keep running them. I just put them in because here's the thing. I was running Mephiston and 5 assault intercessors, and I had to drop Mephiston because I felt like he's too swingy. Like if you're trying to take Mephiston to a tournament, I think it's a bit of a loser's game because his damage output is just all over the place, because the D3 just always seems to roll badly when you need it to be consistent. So yeah, well, here's the thing, I suppose. 5 assault intercessors with Mephiston, a captain for the company heroes, and the company heroes together, I feel like is a way better choice than Mephiston. I suppose it's a whole other debate on the assault intercessors. Phil turned 42 at the GT. Yeah, we got some oldies in here, Phil. I wouldn't have thought you were 42. Maybe about 40, yeah, I suppose. 18 attacks from the charge on the regular guys. So yeah, so you get 18 attacks, and remember, you get to use the free stratagem with them, so you've still got lethal hits, and you've still got +1 to wound. I use Red Rampage on my company heroes quite often. Just because in my list I don't need Red Rampage in too many other places. I mean, occasionally you need it on the Sanguinary Guard, but most of the rest of the time I don't have a great unit for Red Rampage, because both my Death Company squads are led by chaplains, and even if your Death Company isn't led by chaplain, if it's led by Lamartez, I think if you're running Lamartez as the leader of the Death Company, you usually don't need I feel like you usually don't need Red Rampage on that squad either, because with the lethals and the re-rolling hits and the sheer weight of attacks, because you've usually got Lamartez with a 10-man Death Company, right? So like the sheer weight of attacks and stuff, and the fact that they're strength 10 and you've got lethals, means that most of the time, unless you're going into like a friggin' Stomper or something, you're probably not going to need Red Rampage. So based on that, I felt like the company heroes, you're getting 18 attacks, you're getting the improved durability. I'm gonna make it. Do you know what? 2 people have asked me to make a video about company heroes. Kyle, was it Kyle that said that he thinks they're not great? Yeah. So I'll make a video on them, Kyle. I'll do some math, and then I guess usually what I do in my videos is I don't tell you like, hey, company heroes are a much better choice than assault intercessors. I just present you the maths, and then you look at the maths and you decide. I'll give you my opinion. And my opinion, do you know what? Before, Juan's also in the 40s team. Hello all the old 40 plus Warhammer players. Nice to see you. I hope you're all still here when we get to 50, right? because I still plan on being here. That's probably one of the reasons I'm going to the gym more often, right? It's like I want to still be here when I'm 50, so I'd like to be here probably quite a bit past my 50s, but regardless, yeah, I'll make a video on the company heroes, and we'll do some maths, and we'll decide, and then I'll leave it for you to decide if you think that they're not a mainstay or not. All my company heroes models were congratulations, thanks so much, Evan. All my company heroes models were like models from other squads as well. Like I used the new Terminator from the Leviathan set and gave him a banner, so he was my company ancient. I used the company ancient that you got in the single blister pack because I bought him before you couldn't run a single company ancient anymore. And then I actually used 2 heavy intercessors because they're on the same size base, and one heavy intercessor had the rifle and one had the heavy bolter. So they basically all became WYSIWYG. But none of them were actually company hero models, they were all other models. Just the way it goes, I guess. The update killed my keep. Okay. You talking about Chaos and Conquest? Because if you are, I can't help you right now. I'm not in my office. Kevin says Mephiston is too inconsistent with his damage. That's right. Max says he's trying out 2x10 jump pack Vanguard veterans with the priest leading them. They're a durable squad. I like, in theory, Mac, I like the 2x10 2x10 Vanguard veterans with the priest. In theory, I like them, right? Because, in fact, Jack Harpster, who is one of the best, I guess, Blood Angels / best Warhammer players in the world, has said that that is a good way to play Blood Angels right now. The thing is, I think if you're running that many Vanguard veterans, you still need to have some 2 damage jump units in your list, right? Like, you still need some Death Company, because I think there is some units that get tar pitted by those Vanguard veterans, and the thing I would be worried about, I think, would be like Meganobs in the Orcs. Because I fought the Meganobs with Sangre Guard, who are a lot better at damage output than the Vanguard veterans. And my Sangre Guard really struggled. Like, really struggled to kill Meganobs. It was really touch and go. In fact, like, almost to a point where, like, I just couldn't bring down enough Meganobs quickly enough. What kind of armies do I have? I just play Blood Angels, man. I traded most of my other armies away because I don't have time. You know, like, I got 2 young kids and I have a day job. I don't have time to play any more armies. And plus, Blood Angels are like my... I guess they're my favourite anyway, so... I mean, you should have been able to guess by the name of the channel maybe a little bit. So yeah, I do have some Thousand Suns, I do have some Age of Sigmar models, but honestly I've not touched them in years. I always end up just back with the Blood Angels, so my focus is very much Blood Angels. White Scar, thank you so much for subscribing. White Scar says, I run company heroes with a can and a lieutenant in my scars and be able to advance and charge and fall back and shoot. And charge again is juicy. The champion, can, and lieutenant all hit on 2s and get lance. Yeah, and they can all have power fist. I actually don't know what a can have, but the lieutenant and the captain can both have power fist. The captain can get 9 attacks because of use your brain, John. Finest hour. You can get the free stratagem. Blood Angels actually have the ability to fall back as well. We have a strat that lets us do it, which gives the company heroes a bit more versatility as well. But yeah, I mean, fall back and shoot. Someone was actually saying that I need to do the maths for, like, the company hero squad with a lieutenant, because someone was saying, like, the lieutenant adds quite a bit, right? Because I guess if you fall back and you're still eligible to shoot, you could throw grenades, and grenades could be your free stratagem as well. And grenades can be quite useful, right? Like, grenades, they're a bit swingy, but they can occasionally just do, like, 5 mortal wounds. I used grenades a lot at the event that I won, and sometimes they really made the difference, right? Like, taking out a final knight or something, like just having the ability to throw some grenades can be meaningful. And it's nice if they're free, right? Off the top of your head, what are the mechanic difference between us and Space Wolves? Do you mean the difference between Blood Angels and Space Wolves, or are we just talking about White Scars, or you mean the difference between White Scars and Space Wolves? Sorry. How long until we get another Primaris Lieutenant? I wonder if we'll get one with a jump pack, huh? That's about the only variant that they haven't done. A Primaris Lieutenant in Gravis. We haven't had one in Gravis armor. We do have the Reaver Lieutenant who... But yeah, we haven't had a Primaris Lieutenant in about probably a year or two now. But here's the thing, with it's almost a running joke on how many Primaris Lieutenants is there. There only needed to be like one or two of them, especially when they took away the ability for them to have jump packs and stuff like that. I don't know if we need so many Primaris Lieutenants. Would that be a fair assessment? So yeah, I don't know when I don't know when we're getting a new Primaris Lieutenant, or necessarily if we need a new Primaris Lieutenant. There was a Primaris Lieutenant in the Leviathan box, right? What did he come with? We need a Terminator Lieutenant. I mean, there's a lot of Terminator characters. There's the Ancient, there's the Chaplain, there's the Librarian, there's the Captain. I mean, fall back and charge and shoot on Terminators wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, I suppose. But yeah, I don't think there's ever been a Terminator Lieutenant, so... Has there? I'm trying to think back. I don't really think I ever remember one. We always get more lieutenants because the reaction they get. The difference between Blood Angels and Space Wolves, I would say that it's actually kind of a toughie because I've played Space Wolves recently. I mean, the Space Wolves unique units are typically the ones on wolves, right? Like the Thunderwolf Cavalry, and then they've got the Wolven. Wolven were very strong in 9th edition. I don't know if they're that strong anymore. I haven't seen many people playing Wolven, so I assume that means they're not that strong. But in 9th edition, Wolven had Fight on Death built into their datasheet, and it was very strong because the Wolven could carry like Thunderhammers and Storm Shields. So you'd have to engage them, and you'd have to engage them pretty hard to kill them, and when you engage them pretty hard, then they fight on death. So, yeah, I mean, Space Wolves are a fast-moving army as well. They probably base themselves pretty heavily on characters. I've played Wolves a few times at tournaments, and they quite often back themselves up with similar stuff like to us. Impulsors, Redemptor Dreadnoughts can be quite strong for Wolves. In 9th edition, they had tons of ways to make you fight last. That was their big thing in 9th edition. There are like librarians that made you fight last, the enhancements that made you fight last, and then all their guys are fighting on death. So they were actually quite a tough army for Blood Angels to deal with. I guess
I have awoken.
Intrinsically, I'm not entirely a lieutenant on a bike. We're still waiting for a Primaris Captain on a bike. The only guy we've got on a bike at the moment is the only one we've got on a bike at the moment is the Chaplain. But then we're trying to cut down data sheets. Yeah, it's Space Wolves have a couple of different builds. Blood Angels tend to work jumpy boys with Death Company. Space Wolves can go Wolf Jail, and their dreads are bonkers as well. They don't have anything quite like the Death Company. Yeah, I've heard that's a good point. The Space Wolf Dreadnoughts all get to carry like Storm Shields, I believe. So because all their Dreadnoughts can carry Storm Shields, it gives them like 4 up invulnerable saves. They have a character Dreadnought as well. So I'd say they're not as fast as us. They use cavalry. They hit pretty hard, if not just as hard as us. I think the cavalry have actually taken a pretty heavy nerf because they use heirloom weapons now, whereas they used to all have thunderhammers and storm shields. So, I think Blood Angels are in a slightly better place than Space Wolves, but I don't think Space Wolves are bad. They just got a buff, actually. I haven't played them since they just got their buff. There's a real lack of bikes, White Scar. Yes, it really sucks that they removed so many of the bikes. I actually think White Scars kind of got screwed a little bit because, like, their army was all about bikes, and honestly, I could be wrong here, but when I look at the Stormlance detachment, I think it's very underwhelming. It just doesn't seem like that exciting a detachment. It doesn't seem like you've got enough tools in the Stormlance detachment, which I suppose the Stormlance detachment is the detachment for bike/White Scars, but I'm very I haven't played as Stormlance. I don't think it's that strong. I haven't played against anyone playing it either, which could be a sign that it's not that strong. But yeah, when we went over the codex when it first came out and we looked at Stormlance, I also haven't seen any, you know, like occasionally I'll look at like win rates for different factions, and I know the Anvil faction of Space Marines, the one that was supposed to be like Imperial Fists, like no one was playing that and nobody had a good win rate with it. I think maybe like there's been one person that popped up with like a tournament winning list with the Anvil. I can't even remember the whole, I think it's called like the Anvil Siege Force. So I think nobody was really playing the Anvil Siege Force, and I don't think many people were playing the Stormlance detachment, honestly. Because White Scars in 9th edition, again, were very strong. I think their whole thing in 9th edition was they had advance and charge, but I think they ran like a lot of Vanguard veterans, which obviously gave them additional attacks because of Lightning Claws and gave them rerolls because of Lightning Claws. And I feel like Lightning Claws had better AP last edition. I could be wrong on that one. It's hard to remember all the last edition rules. But I felt like Vanguard veterans were scarier last edition than Stormlance is right now. Jack Carter, hello, what's up? Good night, Akushla, thanks for dropping by. Stormlance Space Wolves is really good with the Thunderwolf Cav. What makes it really good? Good evening, Marius, how are you? I honestly have played against Space Wolves a couple of times, and they either used their own detachment or they used Gladius. No one played Stormlance against me yet. There's a guy using the guy on PlayOn using Anvil is Space Marine Steve. Yeah, so a couple of people are playing Anvil, but I'm not really aware of anyone playing Stormlance. I must admit, I've not watched Play on Tabletop for a while. I think sometimes YouTube unsubscribes you to channels you're subscribed to, because I can't remember the last time it suggested a video from Play on Tabletop for me, and I like watching those guys. So I must have not watched them in like 3 months. It was pretty much because they haven't popped up in my, like, recommended to you. Which is a bit random, actually. But, I mean, YouTube definitely or my kids unsubscribed me. My kids do like to play with my YouTube account on the telly, so possibly that's what's happened. Maybe YouTube never unsubscribed me randomly. Maybe it was just my kids. I did think that would have been a random bug they had where you just lose your subscriptions. It's probably my kids. I never put 2 and 2 together before. The kids are probably just clicking things. Are you sure you want to unsubscribe from this channel? You know, I had to turn voice ordering off on my Alexa because I wasn't even thinking about it. It was one day, it was like my daughter had asked the Alexa, she's like, Alexa, play Frozen or something, you know, Let It Go from Frozen. And the Alexa like pipes up, you know, Frozen is not available, but would you like to sign up to Amazon Music? Amazon Music. I was going to say Apple Music. No. Would you like to sign up to Amazon Music Unlimited and get all these songs and, you know, have your free trial that will be auto-billed in like 2 weeks' time? And my daughter's like, yes, please. She's freaking 4. I was like, oh my god, Annabelle. What are you buying on my Alexa? So yeah, I had to like turn off voice purchases because that could get risky, right? Jump pack intercessors and Stormlance is nasty. I run Stormlance for competitive play and manage well, but no bikes. Oh really? No bikes? That's a bit sad, because I thought that was kind of the whole point. They had a couple of stratagems that were all about bikes. The Salt Doctrine gave you +1 damage as well in 9th edition. Okay, so that's why White Scars were so scary in 9th edition. Yeah, I remember them being very scary in 9th, because of the advance and charge, and I guess the Salt Doctrine giving them the +1 damage. Yeah, a little bit sad for White Scars in that, like, I don't think Outriders are particularly a great unit. They work, I mean, I'm painting them right now. They work for Blood Angels because the Chainswords are strength 6. But I think if they're strength 4, I probably wouldn't be running them. I'm running them because they're strength 6. And strength 6 is a nice breakpoint against stuff like Eldar or even against Orcs, where they can still actually kill some stuff and be, like, somewhat durable and somewhat fast. I need a tweezer, 1 second. A little bit of a hair or something got onto this model. I don't know what that is. A bit of hair or something. Blew too hard, blew in some good old human. Well, I'm gonna have to find a pair of tweezers. Where are my tweezers? Let me think. I have got shelving and I've got everything tidied in here, but God knows where the tweezers are at. There's always something. I always lose something. This music reminds me of Stranger Things. This music is retro cyberpunk music, is what it was down as. Unfortunately, I have to listen to royalty-free music on the stream, so this is what we've got. Royalty-free might be better, because if we didn't have to listen to royalty-free, I might just be listening to Metallica or something. Last weekend, I played a GT and my MVP was a Ball Predator, abusing Overwatch every time I could. I finished 3-1 in 4th place. So congratulations on finishing 4th place, dude. I know how hard it is to finish in the top 5 of the GTs. 4th is very respectable. Ball Predators are somewhat swingy for me when I use them. They do get a decent amount of shots at Overwatch. It will shut down infantry. But yeah, units that get like D6 shots are not my favourite. I've taken them to events before, and sometimes they can just go the wrong way for you. So I'm not the hugest fan of D6 units, but I know the Ball Predator is quite a meta pick for Blood Angels right now. I actually made a Flamer variant, and then I used it in one game, and I rolled like absolute trash, and it didn't do well, and then I benched it. and went back to my Predator Destructors, which is funny because the Predator's Destructors ended up winning me that GT. I think in a couple of games my Predator Destructors honestly carried me. The final game against the Mega Knobs, the Predator Destructors killed so many orcs. The flat 3 damage from their autocannons, when he's got like nothing to shoot back at them, it's just very, very useful. You like the heavy bolters in the Ball Predator? I'm not a huge fan of heavy bolters this edition. I feel like they're a little underwhelming when you fire them, but if they work for you, they work for you. Good for you. Scout bikes were so good. Way off topic, but I'm looking to get into PC gaming again. Did you build your own PC? Any recommendations? So I bought this PC that I have from Scan Computers. They are a UK company, Marius. I've bought them from sorry. I've been buying PCs from Scan Computers for the best part of like 25 years. Before I had this computer, I must admit that like the computer I was using was super old. But it might have been, yeah, do you know what? I think I bought it in like 2005. I only got this one like maybe 2022. So I must have had that PC for like 17 years, and it was a Scan Computers one as well. I think I spent like £1,000 on it in 2005. So it lasted the best part of like 15 years. In fact, it's still right next to me. Yeah, no, it is a Scan. It is a Scan. And my wife's still using that, and she plays World of Warcraft on that. So yeah, that's honestly a computer that's probably like 20 years old now at this point, and it still runs and still plays World of Warcraft. So I like Scan Computers. I don't know if they're the cheapest, but they are decent. And I don't know if you remember, a few months ago my hard drive just completely packed in, like just dead. Like I lost everything. I wasn't live for like 2 weeks. For some reason the C drive just completely died. And when I contacted them, I mean, like, the C drive I've got is like a 500 gig SSD. I mean, I don't think it was super cheap, probably like $200-300. There was almost like no questions asked. I just got on the phone to customer support, and the guy said like, oh, I'll just send you a new one straight away so you can get back up and running quickly, as long as like you return the other one to us within like 2 weeks, and we can check it and check it's dead. So it's a bit like Amazon, you know, like when Amazon something breaks and they're like willing to send you the new one before they get the old one in return.
Via Super Chat.
That's really nice.
Unpopular opinion: SWDA and BA all need to lose oath in place of a unique rule and give them decent detachments and lock them to those only upon Dex release.
Unpopular opinion: Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves all need to lose oath in place of a unique rule to give them decent detachments and lock those only upon codex release. Do you know what? I mean, it might be an unpopular opinion, but it's possibly not a bad opinion, because Oath of Moment being that sort of like global Space Marine thing, could that be one of the reasons they're struggling to balance like Blood Angels or Space Marines? I don't know. I guess that's not going to happen this edition, because we already got the Dark Angels Codex, and we kind of know that they can still take Gladius if they want. So it's probably not going to happen. But I don't think you're. I mean, if you go back to like 8th or 9th edition, that's more like what it was, Peaches, right? Thank you so much for the $5, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah, everybody in chat is like, that's not that unpopular. Yeah, they've struggled with balance. I would say it's a weird one, right? Because I always come on stream and say like, oh, Games Workshop, they struggle with balance, but like, we can agree that like the last couple of editions, like 9th edition, 10th edition, are the best balanced the game has ever been, right? Like, it's a pretty complicated game. There's like 15 factions now before you start including like all the detachments. I think it's 15, because you've got, I'm not going to be able to do this off the top of my head, but you've got Space Marines, you've got Votann, you've got Eldar, you got Dark Eldar, you got Necrons, that's 5, you got Knights, you got Chaos Knights, that's 7, you get Death Guard, you got World Eaters, you got Thousand Suns, that's 10. What are we missing? Nids, 11. Tau, did I say Tau? 12. There's as much as 22 or 20 GSC, 13, yeah. So there's like, let's just say for argument's sake, there's 20 armies, and then every army has 3 detachments. That's quite a lot of stuff to balance. Like that's like getting to, you know, like I like RTS games. My favorite RTS games would probably be StarCraft or Warcraft 3. But like, look at those games. They got like 3 races. Like StarCraft has 3 races. If you play Command and Conquer, that was a good RTS game. It has 2 races. And hell, those games aren't even balanced. They literally got 2 races, you know? So we complain a lot about the balance, but like when you actually break it down, that's an insane amount of balance. So yeah, I guess we're entitled to complain about balance, especially when our factions are doing badly. But the reality of the situation is like they literally have a team of guys. I don't know how big that team is, but they literally have a team of guys trying to do the balance. That's their full-time job, I imagine. Like what they come in every day and do at work is try and balance the game. So yeah, we complain that the game is unbalanced, but it is probably the most balanced it's ever been, and there's an insane amount of unit. Like every army's got at least 50 data sheets. So I suppose in the Space Marine one, they had 100 data sheets. That's why they were trying to cut it down. So I think overall they're doing a good job on balance. I don't disagree necessarily that Marines could have been made be better if we didn't all just piggyback on Oath of Moment. I did actually think that was a bit of a weird design choice. But then, my unpopular opinion, I guess if you're giving me your unpopular opinion, Peaches, I'll give you my unpopular opinion. I don't think 3 years between editions is long enough, right? Because, let's just go back to the fact that, let's say there was 20 armies, which there isn't, there's more, we think. If they could release a codex every month, based on that, it would take 20 months to get everybody their codex. And once everybody's got their codex, arguably the codexes that came out at the very start are kind of underpowered a little bit. So like basically if you just say that's going to take you 2 years to get everybody's codexes out, and then like another couple of months of balancing it, you know, if your new edition of Warhammer is every 3 years, then my unpopular opinion is like it should be every 4 years, because there should be at least a year at the end of the edition where it's like, okay, everybody's got their codex, everybody is as balanced as we can do, and now we can play a ton of events, and they're the most meaningful events of this edition because we've had the most time to balance it. But I mean, like I said, it's probably an unpopular opinion, right? Like that's my unpopular opinion. I would like more time to play with balanced armies against balanced armies. There's definitely more, because I didn't say Sisters of Battle. I don't think I said Orcs. So yeah, we're talking 20 armies, and we're talking that we need time to get them all. And I guess there's like 6 variants of Space Marines in there as well, and they each get their own codex, right? So yeah, it's kind of insane how much work they have to do in balance. And I do think the game's in a great state. I remember at the start of 10th edition thinking some stuff was a bit janky, some of the movement wasn't as good. But I think if you play 10th, they've probably had to simplify it a bit just because of the number of armies and stuff like that. But I think overall, like 10th can be a lot of fun. And I don't know who I was saying it to, but I was like, I actually would really like to go to another GT right now. I really can't though, just because family and kids and money and all these sort of other factors. But like, I think Blood Angels are in such a great place right now. Like, I just was like, I would like to go to another GT because I think it would be really fun, and I think Blood Angels are really strong, and I think I could do quite well again. But I can't go to another GT right now. But I think, like I said, I think I'm just really enjoying playing 10th edition. I'd like to play more. As a 7th edition veteran, I will never complain about the current balance. Yeah, I mean, I played in 2nd edition, man, and the balance in 2nd edition was crazy, right? Felix says he agrees. He doesn't think 3 years is quite long enough. But yeah, I guess that's the cycle that they've decided to go for, is the 3-year cycle, and I guess I can live with it, but I think that if there was a little bit longer it might be better. But hey, they are still making improvements, right? The Pariah Nexus data cards seem like a big improvement over the Leviathan data cards. If we go back over the last few years, I would say like the Pariah Nexus data cards are possibly the best set of like competitive scoring stuff that we've had. Because obviously there was problems with scoring in 9th edition with when everybody had their own faction secondaries. We go back to the start of 10th edition, there was problems with No one ever run gambits because they were kind of trash. So again, you know, the missions that we're playing now are arguably the best we've had as well. So it's like there's a lot of positives here. But I guess us 40k players like to look at the negatives, maybe. Balance is overrated, says Antonius. Charge people monthly per codex so you get the latest rules all the time. I do kind of agree with that, Leon, and it would be nice. I really hate how you have to buy every book. I would rather probably just pay a monthly fee, you know, like because I'm not going to be. I think last edition I bought 3 codexes. This edition, no, it was 4 codexes I bought last edition. I bought Knights, I bought Space Marines, I bought Blood Angels, and I bought Black Templars. And this edition, all I've bought so far is Space Marines, but I feel like I would probably pay more if there was an app that I could look everything up on a little bit easier or a little bit quicker. Kevin says, I've been looking for an RTT near me before the next data slate. If there's time to play a tournament, it's now before we get inevitably nerfed. Yeah, I mean, it is time. It is time to play an event, I think. Blood Angels are in a great spot. The thing is, they won't be able to nerf the whole book, right? They'll be able to nerf some things. So I think I don't think it's going to be like... The nerfs are probably going to be targeted nerfs. It's probably going to be at Death Company again. It's probably going to be at Foot Death Company again. I doubt Sangre Guard will get nerfed. Maybe there's something happening with the Sangre Priest. I mean, he did get point increase last time as well. I'd like to see Dante get a buff to coincide with Death Company nerfs. Yeah, I would like to see Sangre Guard get a little bit buff. They die so friggin' quick, man. I actually don't know, like, so I just won the GT running 10 Sangre Guard and Dante, but I honestly don't know how you play them without putting them in strategic reserve. Because any game I didn't, like, obviously I played a lot of games before I went to the GT with them, and any time I basically did not put them into strategic reserve, it was just like, people knew how expensive they were and how painful it was for me to lose them, so people just went after them left, right and centre, and they would always just die. Because I don't think they have, you know, like I played Votan in the GT. The first thing the Votan player did was he put 2. So I had my Sangre Guard in reserve, and straight away he just goes, well, here's 2 judgment tokens for them. So the second they come on the board, they're already double judgmented. Like, he's that keen to kill them. And I already think they're pretty weak in terms of survivability. So yeah, off-topic question: can I run 1,000 unit deep strike? You can run 999 points in Deep Strike if you're playing 2000 because you're allowed to run less than half your army. So less than half your army would be 1,000, so less than half would be 999 points. Brandon, so there's your answer. Excuse me. If Sangre Guard drop to 6-man squads as rumours suggest, I'm expecting an invulnerable and attachable Sangre Priests. I think if they drop to a different squad size, Kevin, I think the rules will just be completely redone. But maybe I could be wrong. Hello, Disgustingly Resilient Podcast, how are you doing? I can't believe Colin let the Death Guard down. Did you know... I don't know if Colin told you this, Disgustingly Resilient, but did you know in the game... So I was 3-0, and I was playing Chaos Knights. Colin also was 3-0, and he was playing the Orc player that I ended up playing on the final. Colin had... The Orc player had to take a Battle Shock test in the final turn, and if they passed the Battle Shock, they won the game, and if they failed the Battle Shock, Colin would have won the game. So Colin was literally a Battle Shock test away from playing me in the final. So I actually was worried about Colin's list in the final because he had like 15 Death Shroud Terminators, and my previous experience against Death Shroud Terminators is bad. I hate them. on paper they don't seem that bad, right? But because of the -1 to armor and -1 to toughness, it means that the flamers can do a hell of a lot of work against Marines. So yeah, Colin was literally one point and one battle shock test away from facing me at the top table. So I'm wanting to play Colin's tournament list, like on stream, hopefully next week, as like, you know, that TV show Marvel, like What If. So this is what if the other person had failed the battle shock test and I had to play Colin on the top table of the GT. I was probably more scared of playing his Death Guard than I was playing the Orcs, even though I've got a ton of experience playing against Death Guard, whereas I've got much less experience playing against Orcs. But I feel like the Death Guard always surprise me with their damage output. The Plague Marines always seem to do really, really well. And because he always has the fight last on them, it makes it super difficult for me to deal with the Plague Marines. Like, I basically have to sacrifice a squad to kill them, and that's not always a good trade, right? You know, you won't shut up about if he wins. Well, he doesn't have the first place GT tournament, whatever you call it, trophy, so he can speak all he wants. I tell him I wasn't trying that hard. It wasn't a serious game, you know. I'll keep that ace up the hole. But yeah, I think that's the best Colin's done it at GT for a while, because he doesn't often go 3-0, so good for him. It's hard to go 3-0, man. It's friggin' hard to go 4-0, you know that? Sangray Guard need an invuln save. Potentially, yeah, there's certain things they're very weak against, like Plasma Fire. They're just so weak against it. The Sangray Priest is already 100 points for a character with no invuln and 4 wounds, and it's not like he hits hard. I guess his 5-up Feel No Pain is probably why you're spending points on the Sangray Priest, right? That's probably why he's so expensive. Giving the whole squad the 5-up Feel No Pain is very valuable. Have fun at dinner with the kids. Go. People really undersell getting 3 wins. It's not easy. Yeah. That was just the thing, because people, like, the guys on my podcast had told me, they're like, you can't win your own tournament. And I'd said to them, any chance I have of winning my own tournament, I'm going to have to beat some of the best players that I know that typically always beat me. And it takes me years, like literally years, between, like, the last time I went 4-0 at a tournament. I'm trying to actually think, because I think it might have been like, I think the last time I went 4-0 at a tournament before this one was, I did it at the start of 9th edition, so that would have been almost 4 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago. No, I guess if there's 3 years between editions, but yeah, we're into year 2, so it would have been about 4 years since I went 4-0 at a tournament. And in that tournament, I was carried by, you remember the Volkite Contemptors? When, like, every single time you shot the Volkite Contemptors, I can't remember what made them so good, but I think it was like, they got 16 shots, you got a Cyclone Missile Launcher on there as well. That was it. So you get 16 shots, you could have a Tech Marine giving you hitting on 2s, you could use a Captain Aura to reroll 1s, so you had 16 shots hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, which basically ended up being 16 hits. And then every 6 on the hit roll out of those 16 dice was 2 mortal wounds, and normally they'd have to take a bunch of no AP saves, and yes, it was no AP, but each fail was 2 damage as well. So I got carried by these 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts to a 4-0 tournament, basically. Because every single game, the Contemptors had stupidly long range on them as well. It was like 45 inches. So basically I was able to do, each Contemptor on average would do something like 6 mortal wounds at 45 inches. So I just keep them like right on my edge of the board, so you can't even barely shoot back at them. And I'll just do, from the 2 Contemptors, I'll just do like 12 mortal wounds at you. And then you'll have to make 10 saves, and each, yes, there's no AP on those, but each failed save is 2 damage. So even if you're on a 3-up armor save, you're going to fail like 3 or 4 of them, because there's just a weight of them. So it's like, I'm going to do 12 mortal wounds and 8 damage to you per turn. So I'm going to do about 20 damage per turn from just 2 models at 45 inches. So I got carried all the way to the top table of an event. It was actually the first time I ever went 4-0 at GT. Yeah, 4 wins and 0. I mean, I've won 4 games at a GT before, but never won 4 in a row. So I get to the top table 4-0, carried by these Contemptor Dreadnoughts. So it's like friggin' 4 years between going 4-0. I was like, if I go 4-0, and it's 4 years since I go 4-0, and I beat all the people that I normally lose to, you think I'm just gonna be like, it's my own tournament, I'm going to try and lose now? Hell no. Plus, I didn't do any of the scoring at the event anyway. Andrew did it all in the BCP app because we kind of shared the event burden, I guess. I organised like the trophies. I organised like what maps we're playing, the mission pack, and some of the tournament rules. What's funny actually is I played Chaos Knights on Dawn of War, which just shows that like nothing. If there's any map you don't want to be playing Chaos Knights on, it's friggin' Dawn of War, because on any other map, my Predators could have outranged his Knights, and my Ballistus Dreadnought could have outranged his Knights, but on Dawn of War, he's just going to walk right up to them and melt to them. Hello David, how are you? What are your thoughts on running a tactical squad in a Rhino? I think tactical squads are really poor. They have like no attacks in melee. They have like, here's the thing, as Space Marines I feel like you probably need to be running a squad of infiltrators, right? Yeah, infiltrators, just to protect your home field, make it 100% safe. If you're going to do that, then anything you can put in a Rhino, there's better things you can put in a Rhino, I feel like. I don't really see anyone running tactical squads competitively. I think it's on like on the podcast that I'm on a Thursday night. It's almost a running joke at how bad tactical squads are. Like they just don't really they don't offer anything in melee. They offer a bunch of strength 4 in the AP shooting, and then you've got like what take one multi-belter or one las cannon and one flamer and one power fist. Like, we just don't see them. I just don't think they're necessarily competitive in the slightest. I mean, try it. I always say to try things and don't just listen to me blindly, but I don't think you'll get great results from a tactical squad, I'm afraid. I mean, I've covered a lot of tournament winning lists for 10th edition. I mean, I've got a whole playlist on the channel where like I cover Blood Angels tournament winning lists. And because 10th edition's like a year old at this point, and there's been like hundreds of events at this point, I must have at least covered like, there must be like 7 or 8 lists on that playlist by now, and I want to say not a single one has included a tactical squad. So I think that kind of probably tells you everything you need to know about tactical squads being lackluster. The only good version of tactical squads is Black Templar Crusaders. Yeah, I mean, maybe they could be a little bit better than Black Templars, but yeah, for Blood Angels I don't think I rate them not one bit, I'm afraid. Apparently there's 2 David Smiths. This is an all furious situation. Well, one's green and one's white, so we got, unless one is an AI David Smith created by AI to impersonate and replace you, David. Maybe it's like right before I started streaming. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a new Terminator show. I'm a big fan of like 80s movies. Some of my favorite movies are like 80s, 90s. In fact, possibly one of my all-time favorite movies actually is probably Terminator 2 Judgment Day. So right before I came on stream, I just watched the trailer, which I'm not sure about because it's a cartoon, but it might be good. there's a new Terminator cartoon coming out on Netflix on August 29th, which you remember from Terminator 2 is Judgment Day. So they've got a new Terminator cartoon coming out. So maybe this is the prerequisite for maybe this David Smith is the Terminator version of you. So like he's gonna rock up to your residence or whatnot and be like, David Smith, and you'll like open the door and be like, yes, and then he'll like touch you, not touch you inappropriately, just touch you, right, because that's what those Terminators do, and then they can take your appearance, and then the green David Smith will no longer exist, and we'll have like a liquid metal version of you, David. Let's hope it doesn't I'm sure it's not gonna happen. I'm sure it's a wild conspiracy theory. But yeah, I am excited to see a new. Will never confirm or deny my T1000 status, dude. I love that. Do you know what? I watched that movie recently. I bought it on Blu-ray, and it's held up really, really well. Considering T2 was 1991, so that's 33 years ago. The special effects for the T1000 actually have held up really, really well. Because sometimes you buy those old movies, like I said, I'm a big 80s fan, or 80s, early 90s, that sort of thing. Sometimes you buy those old movies and you watch them again, and they're terrible, right? Like I watched Highlander, I think that was the late 80s, and you know the castle that they're in, where like he's fighting Sean Connery, and he's like, the Krugan's like swinging his massive sword around, and he's hitting the castle. If you watch that movie now, you'll realise the whole castle is made of like styrofoam, because he's hitting the walls, right? And big bits of styrofoam. It looks so bad now. Big blocks of styrofoam like this size are like flying everywhere, and it looks so fake. But Terminator 2 has held up really, really well. If you get a chance to watch like the remastered Terminator 2, I would say 100% watch it. It's amazing. Predator is greater than the Terminator for Arnold movies, but only just. Terminator 2 was a different. Terminator 2 was a different kettle of fish to T1, though. I mean, T1 was a great movie, but T2 really just upped the ante, right? I don't know, something about T2. Same as Aliens 2. Aliens 2 was a very good movie as well. I know they've just released like a 4K version of Aliens. The second, I mean, I don't know why they didn't just call it Alien 2, but they called it Aliens, which for forever will be confusing when you're talking about it. But I know they've released the 4K version of Aliens. I have got the 4K version of Alien, the first one. And if you've not seen the 4K version of the first Alien, it's actually there's some parts in it that are really good. Some of the parts where the alien appears are a little bit not that great, but when they're going through the ship and stuff, and it's all like eerie and quiet, it's pretty great. So yeah, I was wanting at some point to get Aliens on 4K. I just haven't got around to it, but I will, because I think that's a great movie. I cannot wait to see Alien I can't say that. I thought it was Romulus. I thought it was like the Star Trek name. I'd like to see that new Aliens movie. I know Deadpool is coming out. Like Brett was telling me, Brett from my stream that sometimes appears. Brett, who drew the Mephiston T-shirt, by the way. He was telling me he's going to see a new Deadpool next week. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm going to try and get babysitting so I can see Deadpool. I like the first two Deadpool movies a lot. And here's the thing, I think Marvel have been really struggling, right? Like the MCU or whatnot hasn't been that great. So maybe if there's one character that can pull us all back into the MCU and get us excited about it, would it be Deadpool? I mean, it could be Deadpool, right? He's a tongue-in-cheek guy that we all love. Aliens changed and formed the Space Hulk game back in the day. I didn't know that, but I mean, I guess it makes sense. It would have probably influenced some of Space Hulk, right? I just think there's so many good one-liners in Aliens, man. It's such a good script. Game over, man. They cut the power. You don't think it's Deadpool, you think Wolverine's gonna pull us all? Well, I mean, Wolverine could pull us back in. We did all like the X-Men movies with Wolverine, didn't we? He never wore yellow spandex in those movies. The only thing that will get me back into MCU is more Morbius. You mean Morbius as in the Loki TV show, or you mean something else? I'm not a huge MCU person, I must admit, but I've watched like a good number of them. I didn't really read comic books when I was growing up, so I didn't really know most of the MCU characters. Bill Paxton is heavily missed. Yes, he was. I think Bill Paxton was apparently the only character, and maybe this has changed, but at the time, he was the only person that had ever been killed by a Alien and the Terminator and the Predator, I believe, because he was in Terminator 1, he got killed by Arnold. He was in Predator 2 and got killed by the Predator in Predator 2, and then he was in Aliens and obviously got killed by the aliens. He died in the vent at the end, didn't he? I can't actually remember when he died. Or did he get sucked into the floor? It's been a long... Here's the thing about being old, and you guys will... Like, there's a lot of people in this chat that are, like, telling me that they're 40, so you guys will appreciate this as well, right? See if you've got, like, a favourite movie, or a movie you've not seen for, like, a very long time. See, when you get old, you can actually... Here's the one good thing about getting old is... You can watch that movie again, like 25 years later, and you've forgotten it all. You can enjoy it like you enjoy it for the first time. I mean, when you start watching it, bits of it fly back to you, and you're like, oh yeah, I know this happens. But at the same time, you can watch a movie that you've not seen in like 25 years and be like, damn man, I really enjoyed that. But sometimes, like, when you watch a movie for the first time, that's it, right? You never enjoy it. Again, well, you can now, because we're old and we're forgetful. I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish these Outriders. I feel like I've been painting them for ages now. David's an elder, he's 53. Well, David, you're being replaced, though, by a younger version of yourself, right? Maybe the green name, David, is going to replace you, because he's a younger T1000. Oh, Morbius is a vampire. I haven't seen that one, and I missed that one. Yeah, he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well. Just rewatched Dark Knight for the first time in probably a decade. It was great to experience it after forgetting most of it. Dark Knight was the second one, right? With the Joker? Or was that the third one? I must have not watched Dark Knight at this point for like 15 years. Oh, David, you are so getting replaced. Everything about this adds up. Oh well, I mean, to be fair, David Smith is... This is going to sound really bad. To be fair, I feel like David Smith is possibly a common name, because I feel like John is a very common name. I feel like I know so many Johns. I know a few Jon Stewarts as well. Obviously, there's the Jon Stewart that was famous on the TV show. What was it? Oh, it was like not the Late Show, but one of these late night comedy shows. There's a Jon Stewart on there who's basically got the exact same spelling as me. I've had that joke a bunch of times, or at least when he was on television constantly, I had that joke a bunch of times. Daily Show, yeah. I used to enjoy that show. Yeah, I think I've seen him on TV a few times. He's like back doing TV stuff after a break or something. I must admit, I'm not a huge TV watcher. The wife is the TV watcher of the family. I watched the odd show. I'm looking forward to House of Dragons season 2. I know it's started, but I'm gonna wait and buy it on DVD, or because I don't have like HBO Max or whatever the hell it's on. And yeah, it's getting it's a bit silly now with. I'm sure you guys know, with the subscription services for TV shows, there's about 50 different subscription services. So I just wait and just buy them on DVD, I guess, eventually. So I'm looking forward to House of the Dragon Season 2. I'm also looking forward to Last of Us Season 2. I really enjoyed that first season of Last of Us. You have been asked if David Smith is your name or a pseudonym before. That's kind of funny. Yeah, so it must be somewhat common, right? Good evening. Have a quick question for you. I am thinking about running 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts or 2 Destructors. I own one of both. I was wondering which one to get next. The safer choice, I feel like, is the Ballistus Dreadnought, because it's the newer model and it's much less likely to go for Legends. It's probably also cheaper because it's like an easy to build model, because it doesn't really have lots of weapon options. And it came in that box set, so you can probably find one on eBay, I would imagine, reasonably cheap. Like, I have a second one that from the Leviathan box set that's just sitting around. But if you break it down and take it into actually like competitive terms, I actually think that the Predator Destructor might be the better pick. The Predator Destructor, to me, seems like a very versatile tank. Obviously, like, I just think it can do a lot of things, the Predator Destructor. It's very, very good at killing infantry. And why it's good at killing infantry is because it gets that extra point of AP against infantry, which means its las cannons become -4 and its auto cannons become -2. But then it is fairly good at killing elites as well, because the auto cannons are strength 9 with flat 3 damage, so even if they fail a couple of saves, it's a lot of damage suddenly. The auto cannon gets a lot of shots. It's got the Hunter Killer Missile. You do get AP from the Bolter as well, if you're shooting infantry. I think Predator Destructors are super underrated. I made a video about them maybe like a month ago, saying that they were awesome. Not too many people watched that video, so maybe it's a good thing, because maybe they won't get nerfed like everybody else is getting worried about stuff. No, I think the Predator Destructor is the stronger of the 2 choices. But I think if one of those units is going to be Legends, it's going to be the Predator Destructor. The Ballistus is a brand new model. It just came out this year. It's going to be around for the next decade. The Predator Destructor, I really do wish Games Workshop would tell us what the life expectancy is for some of these old models. Because when people come in my stream, they're like, should I buy Sangre Guard? I was like, well, the rumor is there's going to be new Sangre Guard, right? So probably not. You probably don't want to be buying Sangre Guard right now. But we don't actually know that. We're just guessing. So I really wish Games Workshop would just come out and tell us some of these things, but they don't. So we're just guessing, and I guess the guess is the Ballistus Dreadnought probably has more life in it. I think more people don't want to invest in them because they're going to Legends. So there you go. Lamartas thinks that the Predator Destructors are going to Legends. So yeah, I mean, buy one at your own risk, I guess. That's why I'm using like a crappy painted one that's 20 years old. Maybe you go on eBay and try and find a crappy painted one. I'm not selling my crappy painted one because, but yeah, maybe that would be the thing to do if you're going for a Predator Destructor. Because if you buy a brand new one, honestly, it's the worst feeling in the world when you buy something brand new and like within less than, I don't know, a few months of you buying it, it's Legends. It really upset me because I don't get so much time to stream. Because I don't get so much time to paint. I ended up doing like quite a big commission towards the end of last edition, where I commissioned like 4 things. I commissioned a Gladiator tank, Ironclad Dreadnought, a Terrax Siege Drill, and a Vindicator laser destroyer, and like 3 of the 4 things I commissioned got put into Legends. And like commissioning stuff, like if you pay $100 for the model, commissioning it costs at least the same again, right? I'd say like a decent commission painter is going to charge you the cost of the model again, plus maybe 50%. Depends on the level of commission you want, I guess. But it's not going to be cheap, right? And I just commissioned a bunch of Forge World models, like right before the edition, right before that. And it sucks so bad. I printed 2 destructors right after your video. No way I'm buying a Predator right now. There you go. Find someone with a 3D printer. But Uvengi did actually buy a second Predator Destructor. I mean, the other thing you could do is you could buy the Predator Destructor and just be prepared to try and convert it into something else. Like use magnets. Troy says, already had my Leviathan and Contemptors go Legend, not looking forward to my other armor and dreads going into Legends. Yeah, I mean, I've got a display case behind me now, Troy, where I've got 2 Contemptors, I've got the Siege Drill, I've got the Leviathan Dreadnought, I've got the Falchion Super Heavy Tank, I've got 2 characters on a bike, I've got like 3 attack bikes, and I've got a Dante in there that all went Legends, so there must be like 150... It must be like $500 of models, maybe more actually, probably close to like $700 of models that are just all Legends. I bought the display case because I felt very sad that all these models that I spent this time and effort were just sitting in shoeboxes. So at least now they sit somewhere and they look kind of cool and they give me some joy. But yeah, at the same time it's very frustrating to spend the time and energy getting them ready for them to just go into Legends, right? And here's the messed up thing, right? If you actually look at the datasheet for a Leviathan Dreadnought, there's like no difference between it and the Redemptor Dreadnought. It's like the minorest thing. It's like the Redemptor Dreadnought's plasma cannon, it's a little bit better than the Leviathan's grav cannon. But then the Leviathan has an invulnerable save. So like there's no real reason to see... There's no real obvious reason that like you couldn't be running that Leviathan, because it's essentially the rules for it are like they're 95% the same rules as the Redemptor Dreadnought. So arguably if a Redemptor Dreadnought is balanced, then a Leviathan Dreadnought is balanced for 40k. So the only reason to not be allowed to run it, I suppose, is because they've decided there's too many datasheets, or they decided it's a Horus Heresy model that they don't really want in 40k. Or they want people to come over and play Horus Heresy. I don't have time for that, so I guess I don't entertain that at all. But yeah, it's sad to see the Leviathans get put into Legends like that, because yeah, when I looked at the datasheet, I was like, there feels to me from looking at this datasheet that there's no reason that these have to be Legends, because their rules look like they would totally just work. They look balanced against the Redemptor, and essentially it's the same friggin' thing. So yeah, I'm back from holiday now anyway. So there's going to be a video coming out on Friday. Probably going to be streaming some painting again on Saturday. And then I'll probably have the Army List show running again on Sunday. So everything's kind of back to normal in terms of like stream schedule and stuff. I'm going to make a tactics video for next week, which will probably be the Company Heroes video, because a few people have asked about that. And did I say I'm going to do the... Yeah, I think I did say I'm going to do the Army List show on Sunday. So we're going to be pretty much back to normal content releases, which will be good. It's nice to get a break, but it's also nice to be back doing what I know and love, essentially, I suppose. and then hopefully we'll get back to the next game. The next time I'm live on a battle report, I'm hoping it's going to be next week. I'm hoping I'm going to get to play against Colin. Somebody also asked if I could get a rematch against the guy that I beat to win the GT. So see if I can get him to bring his same list, and we'll get a rematch of the top table. And I thought that would be a cool idea. I'd like to do that. So obviously, because it's the summer holidays, it's a little bit harder to get hold of folk. But I did mention the idea to Garen, and he seemed keen on it. And Garen's been on my stream before. He's beaten me on my stream before, so it'd be good to get him back. I'd either beat him again, or I think if I got him, it would be super close, because it was literally a 1-point game. JT Money's got an RTT this weekend. Any tips for these 3 missions? Terraforming, stall... Oh, I'm not going to remember all this off the top of my head. One sec. Let me use this paint in my palette and let me go grab the mission cards, and I'll see if I've got some tips for JT Money. Excuse me. Silver Scratch Built Productions. Hello. That name's a mouthful. What scratch build things are you building, Mr. Silver? Oh, excuse me. Very dry throat from speaking tonight, I guess. Where am I on this one? Okay, the back bits are down, the back bits are down, so it's this one. How do I feel about playing World Eaters? I feel fine. I usually beat them, man. I guess the trick is to No, I'm not going to skip your question, dude. Just let me use this paint that's on the palette, and I'm going to go get the cards, and we'll talk about it for 2 minutes. You're always here supporting me, JT Money. At least I can do is give you 2 cents of feedback. That sounds fun, building stop motion. These hobby streams have helped me paint an entire land fortress. Cool. I'm glad to hear it. Now that I've helped you paint a whole land fortress disgustingly resilient, tell me what you are going to paint for me to help me get through my pile of grey. You can have your pick. You tell me what Space Marine unit you want, and I've probably got it in my pile of grey. I'll send it over to you. You can paint it. We'll call it quits. I mean, I'm joking, but I'm actually not joking. I probably actually have just about every single Space Marine model that probably needs a coat of paint on it. Tom, thanks for hanging out. Have a great evening. Don't work too hard. Sorry, let me... I got distracted. How do I feel about playing World Eaters? Yeah, don't let them charge you. I mean, it's simpler said than done, but... I actually don't know. Do World Eaters have a fight on death strat this edition? I'm trying to think. I mean, like, the biggest problem World Eaters usually have, or the biggest thing that I usually worry about is Angron. Because you have to kill him and then there's a good chance he'll come back. I guess the trick when you're playing against World Eaters is, like, decide on whether you need to deal with Angron, because, like, sometimes if you can screen him out, you can ignore him and you can kill everything else. Sometimes you do have to kill him, sometimes you do have to deal with him. He'll take a lot to take down, and I guess that can be problematic. But, yeah, I think World Eaters... I think the way to look at it is World Eaters are a stronger combat army than Blood Angels, i.e. if they are charging you and they're doing that repeatedly over the course of the game, you'll probably lose. Because their guys usually have a lot of strength, they usually have a lot of AP, and they usually have a lot of attacks, and I think if you compare them like for like, they probably do just as much, if not more damage than, like, Blood Angels units, right? And then they've got... the 8-bounder are considerably nasty and stuff like that, but, like, I've played World Eaters a bunch. I've played them at tournaments, I played them on my stream. I typically always beat them. But I think it does. I mean, occasionally I lose to them. It doesn't. It's not like I'm infallible. I can lose to them. But I think that you have to pick your engagements. You have more speed than them typically with the jump units that we have, and then we have better firing options again typically than they have, because most. I was going to say they have very little ranged attacks. Maybe Angron has a whip or a flame breath. But I actually can't even think if Angron has any ranged attacks. I remember so few of the ranged attacks that I kind of feel like he's got none. So I think it really comes down to pick your engagements, shoot what you can. And I think Blood Angels are they're a pretty good army for dealing with World Eaters. Just if you try and take them in a head-on fight, they'll win. Because most of the guys have more attacks than Blood Angels and they hit just as hard, if not harder. So you can't take them in the head-on fight, but we have more tools that we can use to deal with them, I feel like. We have limited... World Eaters also have limited units on the battlefield. Just because their units are so expensive, or why? They can also get +2 to advance and charge. Yeah, that can be a real problem. Angron has no range. Yeah, I mean, I guess he just is... If they roll that blessing that gives them +2 inches movement and advancing and potentially charging, Angron can have like a 30-inch threat range. I guess that's the trick, right? So if you can avoid Angron and you can deal with his 30-inch threat range. Blood Angels is the scalpel, World Eaters is the hammer. I think that's probably... You took everything I tried to say and condensed it into 4 words. I think you're dead on with the system. Alright, give me 1 second, we'll go over these cards. Oh, it feels good to be streaming again. It's been far too long. It's only been like a week or something, but yeah, I needed to have a break. So what the hell are we looking for? Hold on, what did JT Money say? He said, any tips for these? Terraforming. Terraforming is an interesting one. I have played it. And the thing about terraforming is, in your shooting phase, 1 or more units from your army that is in range of an objective marker that is not within your deployment zone has not been terraformed. If the unit survives through your turn, it's then terraformed, and each turn you get 2 VP for that, up to a maximum of 15. Here's the thing, you kind of want to terraform as soon as you can, if you've got something durable that can get onto an objective. Do you know what's good for this? Is an impulsor. If you got an impulsor that you can just drive onto an objective turn 1 and start terraforming, even better if it's in cover, right? Or if it's obscured, because then they'll struggle to kill it. Obviously they can kill it and stop the terraforming. You're also playing Stalwart on that one, which is battle line units can shoot and perform actions, or battle line units can perform actions within engagement range. I mean, I feel like it's fairly minor. I actually didn't run any battle line units into the tournament that I just ran. And then you've got Crucible of Battle, which is corner deployment. So you're going to want to put a unit on both flanks, ideally, that can hit both those objectives. You want to clear enemies off the side field objectives and get those terraformed as soon as possible. I guess the trade-off is to not lose too much, and the other trade-off is to remember that units have to survive all the way through your opponent's turn. So maybe you want to go hard on one side of the board, if you think you can manage that. That's basically what I did. I played Orcs on this terraforming, and I'm not sure if I played Crucible of Battle, but I definitely... Do you know what? I might have been Crucible of Battle. It was either Crucible of Battle or Sweeping Engagement, I think. And I grabbed this one and terraformed it straight away, and then he grabbed that one and terraformed it straight away, and then at the end of the game I got the terraforming. So it's worth terraforming even on a later turn. But if you get them up early, you're getting the points for the entire game. So try and do that, but don't commit too heavy into it. Like, don't take too many losses. But if they terraform 2 and they're just getting +4 victory points every every battle. What's the main topic today? I'm just painting, Terrence. If you've got a question, shoot it at me. How long have I been live for? I've been live for almost 2 hours, so maybe you got like another 20 minutes, and then I'll be going to bed or getting tired or something like that. Burden of Trust, Prepared Position, Search and Destroy. So Search and Destroy is just the standard map that we all know. Corner deployments. Prepared Positions is battle line units can go to ground or heroic intervention for 0 CP. I mean, I guess that's just something to be aware of. I don't think there's much we can talk about doing that. And Burden of Trust. I don't think I've played this one. What's Burden of Trust? The player's turn scores 4 victory points for each marker they control that's not within the deployment zone. Then for each marker the player controls, they can select 1 unit from the army that's within the range of the marker to guard it. Alright, so you've got to put units on an objective and guard it, and if you guard it and you survive, you get 2 additional victory points. Burden of Trust is a great card. Like, you know, earlier in the stream someone was saying they don't rate company heroes. Company heroes would be a good unit for Burden of Trust, right? Like, you would want to guard an objective with something durable. So you want to be guarding objectives. You only guard with 1 unit a turn. Again, an Impulsor would be pretty good for guarding an objective. Impulsors have a lot of uses, actually. So you can guard with an Impulsor, or you can guard with company heroes. Basically, you want to guard with something durable that you don't need doing much else. And if you do that, it's 2 bonus points towards your primary. Again, probably focus on the side field objectives. Usually when I play Search and Destroy, I try and get some units near the middle to basically, like a Death Company unit or a Jump Intercessor unit that can jump to the middle and contest the middle. And then usually pick one of the side ones, whichever one I think is going to be giving me the most cover and is going to be easiest for me to get. So basically, rather, you know, I guess if you get ahead you can spread out and take all 3 in the middle, but basically you want to secure 1 on the side and hold that nice and easy. And then that's the great thing with Blood Angels, is you've got that 12-inch jump in the charge, so you just jump towards the middle from a unit behind terrain and just charge, and you can do that every turn. So that's actually okay. The Burden of Trust thing is the Prepared Position is minor on that one as well. When's my next tournament? It's a good question. I can't go to that many tournaments because I've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I'll probably go to 1 more event this year. There's an RTT in September I've been invited to. There's a GT in December. I prefer GTs. You could guard with a flanking Outrider unit. You're 100% right, Alex, and that would probably be some easy points right there. And then the final one is Take and Hold, Raise the Banners, and Tipping. Tipping? Take and Hold, Raise Banners, Tipping. What the hell is Tipping, JT? Oh, Tipping Point. Okay, oh, this is just the new map, right? You didn't write Tipping Point. Okay, Raise the Banners. Raise the Banners. Can't find it. Raise banners, oh, it's right in front of my face. So battle line units can raise a banner with an objective marker. If that unit raises a banner on that marker, you score 1 victory point. It's super minor. 1 victory point improvement for having a battle line unit. I guess if you can raise banners on the side field objectives, go for it. It's going to cost. It's going to get you one. It's so minor. I think I wouldn't even. I think we played Raise the Banners at the tournament that I just ran, and I didn't even have any battle lines. I couldn't even do it. Take and Hold. Yeah, and Take and Hold is nice and simple, isn't it? So, again, you're going to want to control your DZ for 5 points. You're going to pick one of the 2 side field ones, whichever one you think is more defensible and easier to control, and you're going to go after that. You're going to prioritize do that, because if you do that for 4 turns, that's 40 points. So you're literally you're only 10 points away from capping primary at that point, right? So basically what you're saying is control the 2 easy ones for 4 turns, 40 points. I'm excluding turn 1, right? Because you can't score anything in turn 1, so that's why that's 40. And then hold the middle twice, and then you're capped at 50. Or take this side field off him with a rapid ingress jump intercessor unit or something like that twice, and that's you at 50. So tipping point with taking hold should be fairly easy again for Blood Angels. There's a fucking fly. Oh, I think I got him. Oh no, I didn't get him. Get out of here. I guess that's the problem with having the window open. How dare you invade my space, fly? Don't you know this was the Blood Angels? Fun fact, I start using an impulsor without the dome and the extra anti-elite shot is nice. My impulsor still dying turn 1 anyway with the dome. At least you're honest, Terrence. My experience of the shield dome is very hit or miss, right? Like, it's either you have the shield dome and you spike some 5-up invuns and you're like, yeah, shield dome. Or you have the shield dome, you spike 0 5-up invuns and you think that basically what you just said is like, why do I even take the shield dome? That's kind of funny. It's kind of funny to just be like, yeah, screw it. I never save with the shield dome, so why even have it? Jaegerbomb coming in with the super chat. Hello, Jaegerbomb. I saw you the other night in Valrak's stream. He's like calling you out and everything. Slightly off subject, I hate how Reavers still suck. I mean, Scouts are better than them. I mean, couldn't GW give them a buff or something? Yeah. Yeah, Reavers really do suck. I don't even know if there's a single chapter that Reavers are good in. I really don't know. I mean, I feel like I want to like them. I want to have a reason to do Reavers. I still think Reavers are one of the coolest looking units that they made, right? Like those helmets with the skull, like the Skeletor masks. They're so friggin' cool. And it's like, I think I bought my Reavers at the start of 9th edition. I think they were one of the first units they released at the start of 9th. Hell, it might have even been 8th. Was it 8th that the Primaris came in? Yeah, because Dark Imperium was 8. Was it? No. Oh, I'm confused now. Leviathan, yeah. Leviathan was 10th, Indomitus was 9th, Dark Imperium was 8th. Dark Imperium, yeah, so was it 8th edition that Reavers came out in? And they've sucked for that long. Really? It was 8th? Jesus. Crispy Delicious, nice to see you too. My break was indeed very enjoyable. It felt a bit weird towards the end of the week because
Jaegerbomb2 donated $5 via Super Chat. Slightly off subject, I hate how Reavers still suck. I mean, Scouts are better than them. I mean, couldn't GW give them a buff of some sort?
yeah, I thought that they would get a buff in 10th edition, man, because they were a bit they were rubbish in 8th, they were rubbish in 9th. I really thought 10th might give them a buff. I don't know what they're thinking with them. But yeah, so they came out at the start of 8th and they were like touted at the time to be like, these are going to be a great interesting unit with either the pick of like the grav shoots, or I forget what the other thing's called. Oh, I think it's grav shoots and like grapple launchers. I think that's it. But yeah, it just makes no sense to me that they're still so rubbish, and like I don't think there's a single chapter that uses them. Reavers look so cool, but they're mediocre. Yeah, I mean, I had to check which David that was. Was it Terminator David or was it old David? David, if anyone ever comes to your door looking for you, you're gonna have to be so careful now, right? There's another David Smith out there looking for you. I mean, here's the thing. In the 1984 movie Terminator, he went and looked the other day. He looked up Sarah Connor in the phone book. I mean, I guess you've got the advantage now that there probably is no such thing as a phone book. So I'll never be able to find you your address from the phone book, right? Reaver should have a reactive movement and stealth. I think they should just have some friggin' AP, man. Like, just give their friggin' melee weapon. Like, just give. I think they're. Call them poison knives or something. You know, like Drukhari have poison weapons. Just give them, like, poison knives. What's a poison knife? I don't know. Let's say it's anti-infantry 2-up or something, and it's got 1 AP. Like, just give their knives something that would actually give them a reason to be picked. I suppose they have that interesting Battle Shock rule, but Battle Shock hasn't been quite as impactful as it... as we thought it might be, I suppose. Like, if every unit in the game had like 1 or 2 worse leadership, then maybe they could be pretty good. But I mean, it's not going to happen. So, the thing that bothers me, I guess, is like I kind of hate it when they release a unit like that, and they're just a dead unit for the entire edition, right? Because there's a few units like that. Suppressors seem to be another unit. I don't see too many people running suppressors. Blade Guard Ancients. We don't see many people running Blade Guard Ancients. I'm sure there's other... If we dive into the Codex Space Marines, we could find some other things. I know some people are running Storm Speeders, but I think beyond the Hammer Strike, I haven't seen any... I think beyond the Thunderstrike, I haven't seen anyone run any of the other variants of speeders. So I've seen Hammer Strikes, but I've seen none of the other ones. So yeah, it's weird. I suppose that's the thing that Jaegerbomb. That's why I think that they should still move to like digital rules. Because if it was digital rules, they could just, or digital codexes, or whatever you want to call it, but they could just go like, alright, let's look at the data, right? The data tells us that no, because here's the thing, they have all these lists, and they have all the data from BCP, so they can probably pull it all and be like, in the last month, there isn't a single Space Marine list that's gone into the top 5 of a GT with Reavers in the list. Do you think we should maybe buff Reavers? I mean... Or it might even be worse than that. It might even be like, in the last 6 months, there hasn't been a single list that went to a tournament. Like, I have not played... I fielded my Reavers like 1 time, realised they were absolute dog shit, and then put them back in their box. And I guess... Like, I'm trying to remember how many years ago that was now. Apparently it was like 7 years ago or something. But like, in those 7 years, I have played a lot of games of 40k. I play 1 game a week, so... You could say I miss the odd week here and there, so let's say I play 40 games a year, 7 years, that's 300 and some games of 40k. Do you know how many times in those 300 games of 40k I've played against Reavers? 0. Do you know how many times in those games I've played against Suppressors? Like, twice. And I guess both times it was like someone trying out Suppressors 1 time and then went, yeah, do you know what, Suppressors aren't that useful. Like, I feel like they've got to have that data, so I don't know why they don't action on it. I wish they did action on it, Jaegerbomb. Suppressors are the oldest models in my pile of shame, says 2 Scoops. I actually started painting my suppressors in Death Company colours, and I think that they could look super cool. Like, I think they're a cool looking model, and I think in Death Company colours, with like big, like red autocannons, I think they would look super cool, but like, I just have no motivation to finish them, I guess, because it's like... Kevin says sometimes excuse me. Somehow I have 2 lone Reaver models. I don't even remember buying them or losing 3 of them. Someone probably gave them to you. Someone probably snuck... You went to a tournament, Kevin, and someone probably snuck their Reavers into your case at the tournament. Because they're like, why do I even have these pieces of shit in my collection? What are they doing except taking up space in my house? So someone actually gave you... Like, he went round everybody at the tournament and... He'd bought 1 box of Reavers, you know, so you got 2, and someone else got 2, and someone else got 2. So all these people getting home, like, looking at it, I mean, like, I don't remember buying any Reavers. There's someone cackling at home, haha, I got rid of my Reavers. Same as, you wait a few years and you'll find some Desolation Marines. You'll be like, I don't remember buying any Desolation Marines. The exact same thing will have happened. That guy bought them when he thought they were going to be good. He's gone to the same tournament as you, Kevin, and he snuck 2 Desolation Marines into your case. He's like, you must have these useless units. because I don't want them anymore and, you know, they're dead to me or something. I don't know. You can tell I'm getting tired. I'm getting excited about stupid stuff. Have you ever considered adding an invader to your Outriders? I don't really like Strength 8 multi-meltas because I don't think they're very useful. So if multi-melt, like if it was still 9th edition and multi-meltas still like blew through tanks like they did in 9th edition, I would probably consider adding an ATV to my squad of Outriders, yes, because I actually liked running the attack bikes in 9th edition, because I felt like attack bikes were fast-moving meltas and they were pretty darn useful, whereas now I don't think one multi-melta is all that useful. It feels like very much like I felt like if you... I was going to say, it feels like something you might put in the list if you just have a few points to spend at the end, but a single Invader ETV is like 70 odd points. So I feel like if I had 70 odd points to spend in the list at the end, I wouldn't take a single Invader ETV. I'd probably take like some scouts or something that I actually think could be actually quite useful. So no, I must admit I haven't considered putting the Invader ATV into my squad of Outriders. I don't think it's that useful. I don't think the onslaught cannon that they have is all that great either. Like, cause it's strength 5, 1 AP. It just feels that, yeah, it just doesn't feel that useful, or doesn't feel like it would be that impactful. But yeah, if you're running, if you're running an Invader ATV and you're getting good value out of it, don't let me stop you. But I just haven't potentially seen the value that it might bring to my list, I guess. Is that fair to ask your question? Desolators can stay dead. Yeah, I mean, Desolators probably just need a rethink on their weapons, right? Indirect fire has changed a lot, I suppose, since Desolation Marines are strong, right? Because indirect fire always misses now on unmodified 1, 2s, and 3s. The best thing you can say about the Invader would be make a kick-ass orc conversion. I've seen a very cool Mario Kart version of the Invader ATV. I did like that. I know some people were very upset about it, but I thought it looked pretty cool. But then my kids love Mario Kart, so maybe it's just we've got a love in our household for Mario Kart. It would be cool if they could have a plasma cannon. Bear says, I haven't played a tournament since 4th edition, but I had this mini gold demon trophies printed that I would just spray gold and I would give to my opponents who beat me. That's very kind of you. People do that nowadays with like dice. People always like give away some dice to their opponents, or it's a nice touch, I suppose. I must admit, it's not something that I do, but I am an advocate of good sportsmanship, so maybe it's something I should consider doing in the future. I really like when people are good sports. I friggin' hate bad sportsmanship. So I sort of pride myself on trying to be a good sportsman. But yeah, a little gold demon tournament is a little gold demon thing to give your opponent when they beat you. You should probably give them one when they lose to you as well, because that feels a bit harsh. Like, oh, you beat me, you get a cool thing. I beat you, I give you nothing. Except, you know, this feels like something out of like Conan. What is good in life? To see your enemies driven before you, or whatever it was. I've not watched Conan the Barbarian in ages. Do you know what, I can tell you the last time I watched it actually was right before they released that Conan MMO. I think the Conan MMO was like 2006 or something. So that's what I was saying earlier in the stream. I was like, when you get to my age, you get to a point where like you've not watched a movie in like 18 years. So I can go enjoy that movie again. Because I mean, I can't even remember what I had for breakfast today. How the hell am I going to remember a movie I watched 18 years ago? So I mean, that's one good thing about getting old. The Conan MMO was ass. Yeah, I think I played it for a hot minute. We were playing Warhammer Online at that point, like Age of Reckoning. and I think Age of Reckoning was much, much better than the Conan MMO, but Age of Reckoning had its problems. It had like big content droughts. So I think a lot of people went and tried other games because, for whatever reason, Age of Reckoning had these big content droughts, which is a pity because I really enjoyed playing Age of Reckoning. I wonder if I've got any of my old screenshots from Age of Reckoning somewhere. I always end up taking a lot of screenshots when I play. I must admit, I don't really play MMOs anymore, but I did play them in my 20s quite a lot. So I'm going to paint for like 5 more minutes, guys. I'm going to go. If you've got any last minute questions, please let me know. Disgusting Resilient says he's a WoW simp. I can't comment on WoW. I'll show you. You'll like this, Disgustingly Resilient. Like my pride and joy down here. Ugh. Let's see if I can get it out. Wrath. Is that it? Wrath of the Lich King Collector's Edition. When WoW was good. And it was good. I don't know why I'm keeping it, but I'm keeping it. I liked WoW. That was like 2010. What was your main? I played Shaman up until they released Wrath of the Lich King, and then I changed to Death Knight. So the character I had was Death Knight. I mean, I still have a Death Knight. I've played like a hot minute of what was the last expansion? The Dragon one. I played like that for like a hot minute. I didn't get very far, but I did play it. And I did play the one before that, Shadowlands? I mean, I think I've played every expansion, but like I play a little bit less almost with every expansion, so but I still have that Death Knight from like 10 years ago. Do not say its name, but everyone changed to Death Knight for Wrath. Yeah, everybody did. I stayed though, even though Death Knights were absolute dog crap for like the longest time. I stayed. I'm making 1,000 points of Blood Angels, but my only jump troops are 10 Death Company, a jump chaplain, 2 jump Sangry Priests. What's a go-to Here's the thing, if you've got Death Company and jump chaplains, you know the Sangry Priests can't attach to them, right, McPherson? I mean, if you've got 80 points free, the go-to for most Blood Angels players with the 80 points is going to be Jump Assault Intercessors. That would probably be the meta choice. The non-meta choice is probably what I'm painting right now, which is the Outriders. And you can make the Outriders work. I mean, I literally showed to people that you can make them work. But yeah, Sangry Priest have really bad, they can only attach to Jump Intercessors and Vanguard Veterans. They can't attach to anything else, which is dumb. What do I want to see in the Blood Angels refresh? I think we kind of know what we're going to see in the Blood Angels refresh, right, Jaegerbomb? Like, we're going to see Primaris Lamartes. We're going to see a Primaris Astaroth. There's a big rumor about Blood Angels... Oh, what's the name of the melee dreadnought? The new one? Brutalis. There's a big rumor about a Blood Angels Brutalis dreadnought. There's a big rumor about these small squads of Sangry Guard. I thought there was going to be a third character that was going to get Primaris. There's going to be Lamartes. Oh, well, yeah, I don't know if there's a third character, but like a lot of people have, there's been a lot of chatter about like the Sanguinor or something around him, but I think the rumors that I'm believing are that there's going to be a Astaroth, Lamartes, the small squad of Sangre Guard. But hey, I mean, there were so many rumors that like the Leviathan box was going to be Blood Angels. You remember those rumors? I mean, Valrak said those rumors as well. Valrak, like, I'm sure he made a video where he said like, oh, the Leviathan box is going to be a Blood Angels box. So that's the thing. The rumors are, well, they're just rumors. That's why I don't really make rumor videos, right? Like, I you know, I get they get a lot of clicks, and as such, they probably make a lot of money, and hell, I'm no different to everybody else. Like I always say, I get 2 kids, man. So, you know, like, I sacrifice a lot of things so my kids can have things. So, like, I like money just as much as everybody else. But, like, the rumors go, they come and go all the time, and it's like, they're all rumors, so, like, I got nothing to add there. It's rumors, man. I mean, I guess believe what you want. But, I mean, I think it might be Lamartes and Astaroth and the small squad of Sangre Guard and the melee Brutalis. I mean, that's kind like, that would make sense. Like, it's going to be a box, right? Potentially with like a bunch of characters and like one new squad, one new vehicle. I feel like that would make some sense, but I mean, like, who knows, I suppose, right? Valrak did not go too hard about the Blood Angels Leviathan box rumor. I mean, maybe he didn't, but I think I made a video on that, and I turned out to be wholly wrong, and somebody called me out as being wrong probably an hour after I posted the video, and I think that was the last time I made a rumor video. Because I don't have any sources that give me rumors, right? I'm just going off what gets posted on Reddit, or which is already probably secondhand information. So yeah, I think I would be pretty, like, I think like everybody's using Lamartes. He's really strong. Everybody likes him. I think it would be cool. Like, he is a fine cast model. Because he's so popular in the meta, it would be cool to see like a Lamartes refresh. I think it would also be quite cool to see an Astaroth refresh. I guess at the moment nobody's really using him. I think he's kind of dog shit. So, which is sad because he was so good last edition. So I think Astaroth, and let's be fair, everybody that's ever had an Astaroth, his axe is broken because it's fine cast. You hope Mephiston gets a buff. Yeah, Mephiston's rules are really difficult to make work, right? He's so swingy, dude. I tried him in 9th edition in a tournament, and after that tournament I basically decided not to run him anymore because I was like, he's too swingy to run in tournaments. I tried, I failed, I'm not going to run him in another tournament. I tried him a couple of times in 10th edition and felt the exact same way. Like, he's just too swingy, he doesn't have a great... He doesn't do anything particularly well. He's like a jack of all trades, master of nothing. So Mephiston for me is not a great pick, I guess. But I suppose it depends on who wrote the Blood Angels codex. Like, did they take things back to the start? You know, like, is it a full refresh? Or is it just a bit of an update? Who knows, right? Valrak does have a good record. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I watch Valrak's rumour videos like the rest of us, and I get excited about them. I just don't have anything to add, and I don't have any sources, so I just guess I don't make rumour videos anymore. But yeah, I mean, I would like a new Astaroth, I would like a new Lamartes. I think they would be well added, and even though I ran Sangre Guard at the recent GT win, I think that new Sangre Guard would probably be appreciated, because I think Sangre Guard are super difficult to play. And I think I got lucky a bit in terms of the GT win, right? Like, I think you need a bit of luck to win a GT, right? Like, there's a lot of games, there's a lot of dice throws, there's a lot of secondaries. Like, you do need a little bit of luck, and I got a little bit of luck. But I also think that, like, the Sangre Guard were super difficult to play, and I don't think that's really the role Sangre Guard are supposed... Like, they're supposed to be an elite unit, whereas they just don't really feel like it. I mean, they get a lot of damage output, but they fall over like they're made of paper, honestly. I sent an email to GW, and they sent me another. Oh, you sent an email about broken axes. Well, that's nice of them to send you a replacement. I think most of us just sucked it up and went like, oh, that's Astrath's axe broken again. God damn it. I think my Lamartez and my Astrath both have had their axe pinned. I guess when I was a kid, I broke Dante's axe a bunch of times as well. It just happened, didn't it? It's going to be... Yeah, I mean, I guess the next... I was going to say, one of these big reveal shows in the next couple of months, we'll get a roadmap for the new stuff, and we'll... Based on how much chatter there's been about Blood Angel stuff, I don't think we're going to have to wait too much longer to see. But yeah, that's going to be me for tonight, guys. I'm going to be back on Saturday, I guess, and there'll be a new video on Friday. I've got quite a bit done tonight, but still an awful lot. It feels like there's an awful lot left to do with these Outriders. This is why I never do Finecast. Yeah, Finecast is... I will be glad when there's no more Finecast, I think, honestly. I mean, I guess that's the one good thing about them Legends and all the Forge World stuff, is I don't have to deal with Finecast anymore. That's like the... Yeah, that's like the main good thing of them legending the Forge World stuff, I guess. I wish we'd get someone other than Astrath. I never liked his artwork. The thing about Astrath is in the last book, and I guess sometimes the books don't correlate to the board game, I suppose. But in the last book, his set of black armor got destroyed, basically. Like, completely destroyed. Like, I think he was running around naked with just his axe towards the end of... Oh, spoiler. Do you know what? If you've not read the Astrath book by now, you should have, because it's been out for like 3 years. I'm sorry if I just spoiled it for anyone. I didn't think of that. It might have been out longer than 3 years, actually. But yeah, his armor gets destroyed. So he's going to need to get some new armor anyway, so it would make sense for him to go through the Rubicon and get a new set of armor made for his new Primaris size. So, I guess we'll see. Anyone remember the Damned from the Devastation of Baal? They'd be sick on the tabletop. What were the Damned? Remind me? It's been a good few years now since I read Devastation of Baal. Were they a successor chapter? I just spoiled it for you, Bear. I'm sorry. Forget what I said. None of it's true.
I have awoken.
Hey Zetsi, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. Alright guys, have a lovely evening. Thanks for hanging out with me for the best part of a few hours. It's nice to see you all again. Normal service will resume on the channel now. I'm back till I go on holiday in a year's time, probably. So I might actually finish a unit. Finish a painted unit. How cool would that be? Does anyone remember the time Dante straight up ate a World Eater? No, but I do remember the time Dante basically ate his assistant. Didn't he eat his assistant in Darkness in the Blood, was it? Remember that time. Cool. Alright. We'll see you guys new video Friday, live stream Saturday, army show Sunday, hopefully live battle next Wednesday night. Have a good evening. Thanks so much for watching. Good night.